Hi friends, hi gardeners. Today is a perfect weather to spray roses with organic neem oil. It is fairly warm but not hot. It is not sunny, it is not windy, and it is early in the morning. So everything is still quiet. Beneficial pollinators are not here yet, and that is the time to use neem oil on my roses. So stay tuned and we will be doing that job in the garden today. So what is neem oil? Neem oil is for organic gardeners. It is very non-toxic to humans, animals, beneficial insects if it's used properly in the garden. And it's very lightly toxic to aquatic life. So when you use neem oil in your garden, just make sure you do not dispose of it into the water source. So basically neem oil is the oil of neem tree, which I believe is growing in India. And it is one of the methods how to deal with insects, diseases and parasites in our garden. I usually use neem oil just for roses, and it looks like it helps me to combat all sorts of pests and diseases which would be emerging later. Now, a thing to say about neem oil. When you compare neem oil to other products which people might use in the gardens, especially chemical ones, neem oil is very often used as preventative method. So you basically apply neem oil on plants before you see a disease, and then it is very effective in treating future diseases. And by the way, I was addressing neem oil and general rose care in spring in my previous video right here, and I talked more closely in depth about neem oil there too. So if you want to watch that video, you can do that. But what neem oil does, it preventatively protect our roses, our plants in the garden, from all sorts of diseases. For example, on this product, which is Rose RX 3-in-1, it says that neem oil protects aphids, whiteflies, spider mites, powdery mildew, black spot, and list goes on. But these are main ones. And Rose RX 3-in-1 is a product for, you see, for organic gardening. And the main ingredient is extract of neem oil. So when you want to use this product, neem oil, in your garden, you can go two ways. The first way, you can order already pre-mixed products, and there are a lot of them on the market. You can just plug it in Amazon neem oil, and you will see the whole list of pre-mixed products ready to use, ready to spray in your garden, which is quite convenient, and a lot of good things can go for already pre-mixed things. You don't need to bother with keeping the proportions, mixing it on your own. You can just buy it and use it as you want. If you have just several roses in your garden, this is probably the best way to go, because neem oil does have a shelf life. So you don't want to buy a big jug of it and then not to use it in the garden, and then you have to dispose it next year. Another way to go about using neem oil in the garden is to mix the spray on your own. And this is what I am doing. I was doing it for maybe several years already. And there are little tricks how to do it. The thing going for this method is that you have more than several roses in your garden. You're using neem oil not on just roses, but on other plants in your garden. It is cheaper. You have to be careful how you mix it. There is a procedure how to mix it, I will show you. And we will be spraying roses with you today. And also, you have to be careful how much you're using it, because you don't want to have 1 gallon of mixed solution and then you have 1 rose to spray, and then you have to dispose of all this liquid in your garden. By the way, in my next future video, I will be showing you how I dispose safely on my property of all the products which were not used in the garden. So stay tuned for that video. So let's talk how neem oil works in our gardens. Well, the main component of neem oil is this product, which I had to Google how to pronounce it, because when I garden, I don't pronounce it aloud, all the components and all the names of flowers and shrubs. So very often, because I don't speak I speak English, but English is not my native language, I just pronounce it in a weird way. So the main component of neem oil is as a directin, and that component interferes with the life cycle of soft-bodied insects in your garden. So aphids, the roses are the main culprit after black spot in my garden. So as a directin disrupts the immune system, the work of the immune system of those little buggers, which are eating our beautiful roses, our beautiful buds. And they have issues with reproductive system, they have issues with feeding. Also, another way how neem oil works on our plants, it works as a repellent. So the future invasion of Japanese beetles might be repelled to a degree by neem oil presence on the leaves of our roses. Another thing, usually roses which have leathery, shiny leaves are less susceptible to all sorts of invasion of pests and diseases. And I have two roses like that in my garden, the Generous Gardener and the Queen of Sweden. And what neem oil does, that residual oil on leaves makes them slightly shinier, and I think that effect has also something to do in protecting roses against diseases and pests. So these are just several of beneficial ways we can use neem oil on our plants. So the most effective neem oil is on soft-bodied insects. Then it helps our roses to fight black spot, powdery mildew, rust. But again, if we have already a big invasion of diseases in our garden, neem oil wouldn't be a solution. It would be too mild to deal with all the infestations, whatever we have in our gardens. So make sure when you want to use organic neem oil, you use it preventatively. So you start spraying the minute your roses coming out of dormancy. I must confess, I am delayed with the spraying this year because that war in Ukraine, I'm Ukrainian, is taking so much of my energy and my efforts and my attention that my garden, I don't know, my roses were sprayed only once this season, and it's already, what, the 12th of May? So I'm going to spray them today by all means before sun appears. But I checked the weather forecast, and the sun is not going to be today all the way till the afternoon, so I have time. It's very quiet and not windy in the morning. We had very windy, cold spring. Literally, almost every day we had strong winds coming in and out of our garden. So, what are the conditions we can use our neem oil? The conditions are neem oil is not selective in killing only bad bugs and keeping good bugs in our garden. So we have to use it at the time when the bad bugs are always living on our plants and good guys went back to their cozy little houses to sleep, or they didn't wake up yet. So we use neem oil early in the morning or late at night. Also, it doesn't have to be very windy. We don't want oil flying all over our garden and our faces and our clothes, us inhaling it. It's not toxic, but still, I don't want to inhale neem oil and then have some sort of respiratory condition because of it. Believe me, it happened to me once when I was inhaling, I think, horticultural oil, and I had some sort of a uneasiness in breathing, so avoid that. You want to avoid it, or you can wear a mask, protective clothes, long sleeves, then you can throw that clothes into the laundry. One more condition, it shouldn't be very hot and very sunny. So neem oil is probably not a choice for people who garden in very hot climates, and the summer comes early in spring and it's already hot, so neem oil wouldn't be a solution for gardeners in hot climates. But for me, I have 4 seasons. Our springs here in Connecticut zone 6, 7 are fairly cool, summers are hot, so I can use neem oil in spring. No sun, absolutely no sun. The condition of using neem oil is no sun because your rose will burn. I made that mistake. I didn't use it on my roses. I used it on blackcurrant bush. When it was sunny, I sprayed neem oil on it. Well, I didn't know better. You know, we are all beginner gardeners at some point, and very often the projects I'm doing in my garden are very beginner gardeners, so I'm learning from other gardeners. So I sprayed neem oil because I was fighting aphids on blackcurrant bush, I remember. And oh gosh, all the leaves became spotted, as if blackcurrant bush got black spot overnight. So I learned my lesson, and I advise you never to attempt spraying neem oil in sunny conditions on the anything in your garden. But particularly today, I'm doing my roses. Now, it's easy if you want to spray your roses with pre-mixed products. Very easy. You just buy it, you pay your money, but you have, and you spray your roses, and it's done. It's easy. I have this spray just in case I don't have time to spray, and I can quickly use it on my black spot prone roses. But usually when I'm very good at spraying schedule, I use my sprayer, which is 1 gallon sprayer. It is good for me. Oh, it has water in it. Okay, I didn't dispose of the water in it. I was rinsing it from horticultural oil. So it is 1 gallon. It works for me. If you have bigger garden, I advise you to invest into a bigger sprayer, maybe backpack sprayer, because this takes time. You will see the spray strength here is fairly narrow and fairly, well, it has to be fine, but it takes some time to go around spraying all the leaves. You have to cover everything underneath, all the stems, to the point of dripping, because you want every surface of your plant covered with the solution. Now, how do you mix this oil? Well, first of all, this oil is, as you can see when you look at the label, you will see that this is pure neem oil, and it is 100% cold pressed neem oil. I would advise you to do cold press, meaning that the neem oil was extracted from the tree tissues by cold method, not the hot method. Okay, so here we go. In order to mix neem oil properly, you need several ingredients. You need water, you need neem oil, and you need soap. Now the question is, why do you need soap? Well, neem oil doesn't mix well with water, so in order to have this emulsifying agent, we add soap. I just have, you know, people use different soaps. I just have soap for my kitchen, and it is lavender sage soap. Some people also add a little bit of oils from aromatic herbs, like lavender or sage. Bugs don't like herb spicy scents, so some people use that. I don't. And keep in mind that those oils are used as a repellent in these mixes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have a jar with warm water. And I noticed that warm water helps mixing process to do a faster job. So here I have warm water. I also always follow the directions on the label. So here it has directions for use. Mix 1.5 teaspoons of neem oil per quart of water, or 1 ounce per gallon. So 1 ounce is 2 tablespoons. Here I have the measurement of 1.5 spoons, so I'm going to do approximate measurement. You know what? I just opened it, and my neem oil is all hardened. It was stored in the garage in cooler conditions. We had cold conditions, so it's all hardened. Let's see how quickly it will mix with water. This should be approximately 2 spoons. Mild dish soap. When you have neem oil stored in cold conditions, as this one was in my garage, neem oil has a tendency to solidify. Don't worry, it's okay. When you put it back into warmer conditions, neem oil will become liquid again. Another thing to keep in mind, the life shelf of neem oil. They say that neem oil is best before and it should say here, where does it say? Okay, expiration is 09/20/2023. So basically a year. If you bought your neem oil for this year, try to use it the year you bought it, because next year it's starting to lose its potency. It's not suddenly not active at all, but it probably will be active to some degree up to 3 years. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to use product which is somewhat active, and I'm assuming that I'm fully protecting my roses. I expect that protection from this product, and it's not giving it. So another suggestion is try to use it or buy the quantity you need for the year you have in front of you in your garden. So here we go. We have warm water, neem oil, and soap. And now comes the shaking time. Da-da-da, da-da-da. Mixing it well. Right, here you go. It's hard to see because we have soaps there. All right, should be good. Should be good. My jar is leaking a little bit. All right, so here we have. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put that liquid into my spray. It has a little bit of water in it, clean water. So what I'm doing, it's full of soap, which is fine. And I basically fill it up to 1 liter mark, which is right here for me. This water is cold. It doesn't matter, our neem oil is already pre-mixed, so it should blend with the rest of cold water just fine. Now I put my jug back. Make sure it's tight. Okay, it's ready to go. We are ready to spray. Let's go. All right, my display rose. As you can see, you can regulate the spray by turning the nose. It can go stronger or lighter. We are spraying to the point of runoff, trying to do all the leaves on top and the bottom. All right, it's done. The biggest problem with using neem oil in the garden, people overuse it. And the good rule is to use neem oil from 7 to 14 days. So basically, I will be using neem oil as preventive, saying every 2 weeks. Again, I started a little bit later. Hopefully my roses will not mind. If they do, I will have to do something different. But I did use dormant horticultural oil. So hopefully we will pull through this season in my garden, you know. Okay, this rose is done. Let's go to another one. Some people use neem oil as drainage for the soil. I never do it, but people are saying that it's a good thing for the soil to get rid of all the pests in the soil, which might be overwintering. It's very effective, they say, especially at the beginning of the season. I don't do it. Whatever drips on the soil drips, you know. You know what? I'm very thankful that this huge, generous gardener is really disease resistant, so I really don't spray it very often. So this would be my basically maybe first spray of the season and maybe the last one of the season. Another thing, your sprayer can have a tendency to clog, and it wouldn't spray as efficiently. So what I do, I open it up, this little thing, and there is a little white plastic nozzle. You can take it off, clean it in the sink, because sometimes debris gets stuck there, you know, and then put it back again, and your sprayer is good to go again. Now here I am spraying my fence roses. You know what? I came back from spraying all my roses, what, half an hour, 20 minutes? And I'm looking at my rose, the Lady of Shalott, which I sprayed first, and all the neem oil is almost dried. So half an hour, another half an hour, and neem oil will basically stop to exist. It does the job, it evaporates and disintegrates and doesn't do any further harm in the garden. That's the beauty of natural products for you. So enjoy your gardens, and I will see you next time.